Some sports require insane amounts of concentration to pull off incredible moments, and that's what makes them so watchable. However, any such moment can easily be ruined by a random incident, especially when there's a crowd. It's unfortunate, but many fans tend to heckle sportsmen, particularly in golf, to put them off, which can have disastrous consequences for the pros and bring out a reaction. Times golfers lost their cool at fans. In golf, these moments are quite common and have happened on many occasions. Here are some of the most iconic moments when golfers absolutely lost their cool at fans. Number 7. Brandon Matthews' classy act. The moment was too big to be defined, and there was way too much on the line when Brandon Matthews took his position and tried to make a playoff-saving putt. Ricardo Celia and Brandon Matthews were locked in a battle in the Argentine Open, and Matthews needed to make the putt to keep a victory on the line and a guaranteed entry in next year's Open Championship. He took a long and deep breath, calmed himself down, lined up the putt, and during his backswing, someone yelled from the crowd. Matthews was visibly distracted. He missed the putt and turned back to yell, "Come on guys, seriously?" He later revealed that he had put too might right hand in the swing, and the yell put him off, and it was incredibly frustrating that someone had intentionally tried to put him off. At that moment, his opponent Celia celebrated as Matthews later sulked away in the locker room. That's not the end of the story though. Matthews was told that the fan who yelled had Down syndrome, and he wasn't trying to put him off, he had just gotten excited. It's incredible to see how well Matthews handled the situation, as he pressed to meet the guy, giving him a hug, a signed golf ball, and a glove. Take a bow, Brandon Matthews. Number 6. Woods heckled. Tiger Woods is the greatest to play the sport, and even at the peak of his powers, he had a tantrum or two in him. However, he seldom reacted to hecklers, so this was one of the rare times a fan did get a reaction out of him. Either way, it simply wasn't cool and shouldn't happen. It was number 18 at the Carnoustie, and Woods needed a birdie to have a chance at making a playoff. Woods was in his backswing when someone from the crowd bellowed, "Free Palestine," and somehow Woods still managed to make true contact. Immediately after the contact though, Woods yelled back, asking the fan what he was doing. It was a rare moment to see Tiger lose, but his brilliance is probably in the fact that he still got the right contact. Tough for Tiger Woods was the fact that he still lost because Frankie Molinari went on to win, and Woods finished 3 strokes behind. Post-match, Woods explained how it wasn't cool because it almost put him off. Number 5. Greg Norman's challenge to a fan. Even though this happened almost 40 years ago, it remains one of the best heckling moments in golf. Greg Norman, the 20-time PGA Tour winner, revealed a moment that should never have happened, but of course, hindsight is 20/20. He was on the verge of winning his first ever major title as he led the US Open after 3 rounds, and he wasn't up against players only, but also a tough crowd. The Australian was being heckled between the green to the tee, and the American crowd was making their presence felt. "Go home, you effing Aussie. You can't play golf. You're a choker." Understandably, Norman's temper was on the rise. Norman, all these years later, expressed his regret because he believes he shouldn't have reacted that way. He says that it was already hard to focus, there were nerves as well. It can get quite jittery, and then, with all the heckling, he lost his cool completely. Norman says he knew exactly who the person was, as in between holes, he walked up to the gallery and challenged the heckler to say whatever he had to say in the parking lot after the round, where he could do something about it too. It was clear that the heckler had succeeded, as he put off Norman just enough for him to miss out on his first title. Number 4. Bubba Watson loses it. We've probably established by now how common heckling is. Most golfers tend to deal with it, but sometimes even the calmest ones can lose it. Bubba Watson was playing against Billy Horschel during the second match of the event at Austin Country Club, when hit his tee shot when a heckler decided to ruin the evening for him. Initially, the heckler's shouts were heard by Watson's caddy, and he tried to resolve the issue diplomatically by telling the fan to shut it. However, the fan had a lot to say, apparently, and kept going at it when Watson really lost it. Watson told the fan that everyone can be big when they're behind the rope or even behind the screen of a computer, and said that it was funny how tough the fan was acting, but looked away instantly. Heckling is awful, to be honest. It can put pros off their game completely, and Watson found it hard to recover in the aftermath. He even exclaimed to the crowd to look at the heckler and see how he's trying to be cool. Social media and opposing fans saw it differently and believed that he had overreacted, but maybe Watson's right and people can be big behind screens. Number 3. Caddy takes matters into his own hands. This This is one of the more appreciative moments because we feel the fans had it coming. Like a magic trick, it happened in 3 main phases. The first phase was the disruption caused by the heckler. The second one was the confrontation, and boy was there confrontation. The third and final phase was shame, and it was beautifully executed by the caddy, Paul Tesori. Webb Thompson and Paul Tesori formed a nice bond while Thompson battled away at the Dell Technologies Championship. He was heckled by some fans nearby. It was a group of fans, but in particular, a person stood out in an orange polo shirt and was trying to put Thompson off. However, Tesori wasn't having any of it. He stepped up towards the fan and gave him one of the sternest talking to you will ever see in golf. We all remember how cold and brutal Steve Williams was to the media and the fans, right? This was different, though it was wonderful and very comprehensive. One thing's for sure, that fan might not heckle anyone again. Number 2, John Daly smashes fans' camera. If the previous instances were about verbal confrontations, this one probably stands out because John Daly truly lost it. During the Australian Open in Sydney, a camera's flash went off a few inches away in Daly's face. Oof, we wouldn't want to be that spectator. What happened next was historic. Daly yanked the camera from the fans' hands and threw it to the ground. If that was somehow not enough, Daly picked the camera up and asked the fan if he wanted it back. He didn't wait for a response and smashed the camera into a tree, sending the parts of the camera flying all over the place. Daly later claimed that his eyes were burning even after the round from the flash, and he probably would have reacted the same way if he was 10 under par. The fan was later asked if he feared getting punched at that point, but the fan revealed that he wasn't scared because there were so many people around. Haha, he also got his camera replaced by Daly, and there was no disciplinary action taken against him. Somehow, despite getting hurled into a tree, the memory card of the camera survived, and the photo of Daly, taken a few inches away, survived. Number 1, Pat Perez's outburst. If you're wondering what could be worse than smashing a spectator's camera, you don't have to wander any longer. Pat Perez is infamous for many outbursts, but this one takes the cake. Playing in the final round of the Reno Tahoe Open, Perez was missing makeable birdie opportunities. Failing to convert, he saw fellow golfer Scott Piercy cruise to a comfortable tournament-winning par, and that's when he completely lost it. First, he stomped up to the cart path and ripped a water bottle, smashing it to the ground. Then he took off, encountering 2 little boys asking for his autograph. Perez clearly was in no mood for autographs and even rejected the offer of a water bottle from the young fan. He ignored them both and rushed past them with such rage that one of them broke down and started crying. Perez proceeded to rip his shirt from the bottom and slam his golf gloves. Expectedly, there was a lot of outrage, and Perez apologized on Twitter and labeled his conduct to be unprofessional. We think that might be an understatement. Although he did try to find the kid, maybe it's for the best that he couldn't. That's a wrap for this video. Did we miss any of the famous golfing confrontations with fans? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.